What's up, guys? It has been absolutely frigid here in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to share with you guys my top 4 baits for catching bass in the dead of winter. Let's kick things off with some crankbaits. Both of these baits, as you can see, have a very flat side profile. And that's gonna essentially cause this bait to have a subtle shimmy action when you're pulling it through the water. And that's what you want this time of year in these cold water conditions. You don't want that bait that's ripping and rolling and shimmying like crazy. You want a nice subtle shimmy as you slowly work that bait through the water column. Let's talk about this Bomber Flat A. This is the one that I've had tied on here recently. I've been catching pretty good on it. I really like these natural, almost dull shad patterns this time of year. Those fish, as you slowly work that bait and pause it, they're gonna get a really good look at your bait. And if that thing doesn't look just right, they'll turn their nose right up at it. Which is also why I like to move to a 12-pound fluorocarbon to throw my crankbaits in the winter versus 15-pound or so monofilament, which I'll often run in the summertime. All right, let's talk about this shad wrap now. I really like one feature about these guys. Super quiet, just this tiniest little knock there. I think that really makes a difference when those fish just don't want to eat. They want something super subtle, super natural, and that's when this bait really comes into play for me. I also want to provide a low cost and a high cost option for each of these baits for you guys today, because not all of us want to go out there and spend an arm and a leg to catch some fish. Next up, let's talk jerkbaits. Now, over here on the right is the Bass Pro Shops XPS Staredown 110+1, and on your left is the Jackall rerange 110. Now, both of these baits, and the reason I've chosen these two, is they give off that subtle action that I want in the winter. Anytime I'm fishing water down to 32 degrees up to the low 50s, these two baits have come in clutch for me, and I just can't find anything else to beat it. So over here on the right, you can see I've chosen a ghost type pattern, and that is because on those bluebird sky type days, I just seem to catch more fish with a ghosty pattern. I believe this one's called a lemon meringue. Now on those overcast, low light condition type of days, I like to choose something with a little more solid color pattern to it. Something like this shad pattern here, or even a solid craw color pattern. But just keep in mind again, those dull craw colors this time of year. Yeah, once again guys, jerkbaits can be awesome. Just remember to keep that long pause between movement and you'll get bit. All right guys, let's talk jigs. Keeping with that same theme, we're gonna have the low cost over here on the right and the high cost on the left. Over here on the right, we've got the Booyah Baby Boo jig. And on your left, this is a custom hand-tied jig using marabou. I think it was like $6-7, but still pretty pricey for a jig. And let's talk about color here some too. This Baby Boo jig, I really like to throw really any time of the year when I don't want to work the jig fast. I'll throw a jig that has that striped pattern in its skirt. And what that does is, as that jig's sitting there on the bottom and you're not moving it, it creates an illusion of movement to entice those fish to bite. Now let's talk about that high cost jig. Once again, I look for a skirt that has a lot of those stripy type patterns there, just to create that illusion of movement. And I look for dull colors, dull browns like this, subtle blues. Pretty much I'll try to avoid any kind of bright colors, bright reds, bright orange, chartreuse. Unless I'm dealing with some real low visibility, then I may work a little chartreuse in there. But overall, you want to keep things dull and natural this time of year. Last but not least, let's talk Ned rig. This little bait here can absolutely slay bass this time of year. When those moving baits aren't working, when those big profiles just don't seem to work, I'll tie on a Ned rig, and there's been days where I can catch dozens of bass on this little guy. So don't count out that Ned rig. Now, this right here is a Finesse TRD by Z-Man. They're about $5 to $6 a pack. Not too crazy. And I do like to stick with those dull colors once again with the Ned rigs this time of year. That dull brown paired with the purple there, the peanut butter and jelly, that can be deadly. Or even this Drew's crawl pattern, when you have a little bit of murky water and you need some flash in there, that could be a good one as well. Now you might be saying, what about the low cost option for the Ned rig? Well, just save those old torn up Senkos from your summertime fishing, and there you go. Perfect little Ned rig bait. All right guys, that should do it for our top 4 baits to catch bass in the dead of winter. Catch you guys next time. Peace.